Hi everybody, I'm AJ and I'm back. I've made a video soon. I'm taking a little break to give you a little preview of my predictions for what is going to happen in the second installment of season 5 of Breaking Bad, my favorite TV show. Now, if you have not watched Breaking Bad, if you are not caught up, if you have not got watched every single episode and gotten to season 5, episode 8 and gotten to that part, then please go away. Don't ruin this for you. Watch every single episode. It's a great show. No one spoiled the show for me. I got to watch every single episode in peace, not knowing what would happen, and it was the best. It was the best character development. And I don't want to ruin for any of you guys, so please go away if you have not watched any of the episodes. Now that is what I'm gonna say. Um, so if you have not reached the scene with Hank in the bathroom, go away. Go away now. Please, please go away. You don't know what that means if you haven't gotten to the scene because it's just Hank in the bathroom. At least that's what I'll say. But please go away. Please, please, please go away. Now, um, I'm gonna start off now onto my predictions. Wow. I'm just supposed to say Breaking Bad, it set itself up for a big, big last 8 episodes. I am can't wait enough for the season to be over. I mean, because I just want to see these episodes. I know Vince Gilligan, the creator of Breaking Bad, will end the show the way it's supposed to be here. Now, please comment if you have predictions. I'm going to try to cover all my grounds and cover you my theories and at least my little tiny brain's thoughts of what I think could possibly happen to me. I'm not a big symbolism guy. Like, I don't know exactly. I know I always think Walt Whitman is monitored off Walt White, like they somehow symbolize each other because the names are close. And that I don't know, but I don't know about what Walt Whitman's poems about. I could do that. I just thought that book was interesting. That was his demise. I also thought it was interesting how Deck. I think how interesting is that deaths sort of echo in this show, and that Gus's death echoed as he tried to pick up the pieces in the beginning of season 5, and how Gale's death echoed as those were two major deaths. And I want to go through. I want to set up what I think my predictions are going to go through. First off, I want to say that I guess my predictions are that you got to remember some certain things here. First of all, the first scene of season 5, episode 1, is obviously what everyone thinks about is Walter at the Denny's. We believe back in New Mexico in Albuquerque after have somehow now has an ID from I believe it was New Hampshire. I watched that scene like a week ago again just to make sure from New Mexico and is gone back there and buys a machine gun along with a new car. So he's obviously going to what and in my opinion I think that is going to be the final showdown. Um, whether I think if I were to bet on it, I would say he's going to go to the DEA or at least Hank to have a big showdown. I would say DEA because of the machine gun. You know, he's got to get some massive ammo, and or he's going to possibly have a showdown with another drug lord like God, what was his name? What was the um Declan, the other drug lord who he has been distributing with since he could not find a network. Um, but I don't think he's gonna have a big fight off with Declan for the final showdown. I do think Hank versus Walt is a worthy final showdown. I don't maybe I do think that but I the only thing I bring up Declan is that maybe Declan gets maybe I just don't see it because they already dealt with Declan in a way like Declan symbolizes the other big drug lord, but they already had 2 seasons of them dealing with the mega drug lord, which was Gus. So I just don't think that they're gonna continue that. They're really focusing on Walt and how he is the king and how he's dealing with the king. The only reason I would think that he has to deal with Declan is because Declan has taken his family hostage because he's mad that Walt is now out. Remember, that's the big thing. He said he's out, but they didn't show anything. He just said he was out. Now, what do I think? Do you think now? It depends where you are. Do you think Walt was lying just to get Skylar? I mean, he's lied to Skylar like basically all the time, but Skylar finally actually started. I think actually believed that Walt was really out because she showed him that money. But Walt has lied to her many times, and I actually do believe Walt was out after he finally got the money. He finally saw that was enough. Obviously, they left it so they could do anything with it. They could do anything like Todd could become the next Heisenberg. I mean, you don't even know what could happen. So they'll definitely something's gonna happen there. Again, it's so hard to predict because Breaking Bad. I know they'll do a good job, but I just don't know what they'll do. But yeah, so remember that last scene somehow gets to that Dunny, somehow gets to that showdown. I think it could be against Declan, Hank, or possibly Skyler. I don't know. Someone I was watching a podcast and someone brought that up, and maybe it's some insane thing, but Declan, if like the kids get captured and he has to actually save the family, because he's never had to do that. The family really has never been in danger. Only Walt has been in danger. So maybe the family gets in danger. I've been thinking of the things that haven't happened. Um, I was thinking maybe Jesse has to come save Walt from Hank, but I don't think so because that's already happened. Jesse had to well, I mean, it hasn't exactly happened, but Jesse already has come to save Walt as he had to kill Gale, so they prove their friendship, and you can see that I mean, Jesse is the son Walt never had, and he wishes, they were sons, as shown in that last scene when he gives him the money finally. Um, but what I think is interesting about the show is just um, how is the thinking of how is Walt gonna die? Because after a lot of thinking, I thought Walt was gonna die. I thought he was finally gonna meet his end. I was like, okay, this is how it's gonna end. He's gonna get the machine gun and Hank's gonna kill him. And after a lot of thinking, the show's too good for that. Vince Gilligan, the creator, wouldn't do that to him. He just wouldn't kill. He wouldn't kill Walt in the Halo bullets. If you kind of get what I'm saying, he's not gonna go for that kind of ending. You're just gonna kill Walt. I think he's gonna go for more of the Godfather ending. So basically, there's three options I've got for him dying, and I think actually none of these will happen. I don't think you can predict what's going to happen to Walt just because how good the show is. But I do think there's two basic reasons which everyone thinks of: gets caught in a hail of bullets, just gets shot in a hail of bullets, and bada boom, bada beep, boop bop, he's dead. But Hank kills him, the DA, or number two, he dies of cancer. Obviously, he dies of cancer just out of his thing kills him, and I don't think either of those two is going to happen. What I think is more plausible, but still would never bet on it, is that the Godfather ending where Walt essentially loses his soul. He loses everyone around him. He finally realizes everything he's done. He's still alive. He doesn't die, but he's kind of just in the woods, as it were, and just totally out of it, and may commit suicide. Um, but he finally comes to grimace with everything he's done and has to pay those repercussions. But it's not in a death sentence, and it's kind of like a show's thing that um, there are worse things than death. Um, that's kind of where it's ending. Like, I don't know what else could they do. Like, my puny brain just can't think of how Breaking Bad can just do everything. I think a weird thought is that if you watch season 5 and the handshakes, I believe maybe there's just one, the handshake Lydia, between Lydia, the other girl on the show, and Walt or Heisenberg, is that they have this kind of weird handshake. I don't know if I'm doing too much in this, but it's kind of like a romantic handshake. Like, it's not what you would think about it. I don't know. Go look at it again if you can watch the episode again, and maybe you'll see what I mean. But maybe there will be a relationship between Lydia and Heisenberg. I know that's really, really far fetched, but I'm just throwing it out there because that's like what hasn't happened between Walt. I mean, Skyler and it's obviously it looks like to me that Skyler and Walt will never be the same again. And as Skyler just says, I just want my kids back, not our kids back. She wants her kids back. She just wants them back. So it looks like they'll never be the same again. So maybe Walt will get with Lydia, or I think I have a hard time believing it's that way because I don't think they have the time to develop their love when they're trying to end this show, and it is probably going to be a huge bang. I don't know. I could see Saul dying. I mean, I could see basically everyone could die. Jesse could die. I mean, it's hard to see Jesse die. Actually, Jesse dying now. I mean, Jesse's out of the picture. He doesn't have much to do. I find it hard to see Jesse coming back because I don't think they're gonna have a situation where Jesse saves Walt. Like that's already happened in the series. I don't think they'll reuse that. Where Jesse has to come back, but it's really hard for them to see getting rid of Jesse. As at this point, to me, at the latest episode, he has no character point. Like he now has all the money to do drugs and do video games, and that's just where he started in the series. Jesse has ended up while they do show Jesse's character development, where season 5 he actually was smart and came up with the train trick, I believe, and the magnet. They showed that he becomes smart, but he essentially at the end ends up where he started, where he's a druggie and just plays video games all day. I mean, he doesn't make meth, but now he has enough to sustain himself, and that maybe he has learned, but he's kind of the same. Like you see him hide the bong from him, and that Mr. White is right; he'll just become a druggie, and that Jesse has potential that he doesn't. But um, so back to what I said about Declan capturing the kids. I do think that in this part now, the kids will be in danger, or somehow Skylar and the family will be in danger. Maybe the drug lords or the Chezeks or the Chezoslovakians get mad and capture his family because Walt is actually out and force him to cook for them or something along those lines. Because I do think now the final stage is the family has to be in danger. You know, everyone else has been in danger. Walt has been in danger constantly. Jesse's been in danger. Really, I mean, really, Skylar and the family have never been in danger. I think I definitely think that's a huge that's a huge door that definitely should. I think that actually should be opened. Is that the kids should get in danger because that would kind of that'd be another phase. Is now Walt but see, if the kids were in danger and Walt had to go save them, that'd make him kind of like the hero. It wouldn't matter who you killed because he's doing this for his family. You know, most people can relate to that. But I just think that that definitely could be a big thing. Um, so again, but there's the other door where maybe Walt flees from his family if this family realizes he's a true drug lord. Even Walt Jr. won't like him as a dad, and he has to flee, and that's why he's in the Denny's and he moved to New Hampshire. But now he's back because he has to face Hank. Oh man, just anything could happen in these 8 episodes, and I just hope I'm there to witness it and be there. No, please post in the comments what you think your prediction is, because I have no idea, and I wish I had an idea. But those are my predictions. Again, I don't think Walt dies in bullets. I don't think he dies of cancer. I think it's more of a you lose your soul ending because I mean the show has a lot of great symbolism stuff. The deaths echo, you know, Gus's death echoed in season 5, how Walt had to deal with all those things, and Gail's death now echoed in screwing him over with the book, which kind of showed that the greatest criminals can. Everyone makes mistakes. Um, yeah, I just don't know. What else could happen? It's tough, guys. It's tough. Um, do I have any other predictions? I don't know. We never see Saul anymore. He's kind of out of the story, but again, he could die. I don't think that would solve anything. Um, could Jesse die? I think Jesse could be next in line. I definitely think Walt will be the last character to die if he dies. Um, Walt's going to the last episode. He's not. Walt's not. We're not gonna have an episode where he's not there. Could Skylar die? I thought Skylar was actually gonna die in the last 4 episodes because you just saw how dark it was and how bad it was. But now it seems that cloud has been lifted, and at least Skylar and Walt are on much better terms now that Walt has quit and the kids are back. So I don't think Skylar's gonna die. But I was huge. I'm like, Skylar's gonna die. I didn't think Mike was gonna die, but that was huge. But Walt finally axed off that one man who Walt was. I mean, Mike was the only guy who really stood up to him and told him, you know, like you're not Jesse. Just because you shot Jesse James, aka Gus, doesn't make you Jesse James. And always stood up to him and kicked him, and never really gave a shit that he never and knew he could see through Heisenberg, and he saw Walt, and he saw that. Listen, you're Walter White. I know you. You're a chemistry teacher, and Walt resented that and he hated that, and his ego got to him, as it usually does, and his pride and arrogance killed him, which you should never be arrogant. Um, I should never be arrogant, even though it fucks me over sometimes. But make sure you watch these last episodes because it's going to be a doozy. It's going to be the king. It's going to be. I just really hope that Walt escapes this one. I mean, see, for me, I like Walt a lot. I just love his character development, and I know a lot of people, you know, can't watch the show because it's so dark, and a lot of people get turned off because they don't like Walt, or people just like him more. That's really how it is. But I just love this character. I think it shows a lot of human. It just shows a lot of human development, and that you know anyone under the right. I do think it shows that anyone under the right circumstances can be pure evil, can be bad, and I don't think it's a scenario of everyone as a monster. I think that everyone in a scenario to survive will do what they have to do, and that's why in the show Walter White sells meth. Otherwise, I think the producers make him sell meth because meth is kind of like an unforgivable thing. He could sell weed, but that's not like unforgivable. Meth is kind of like one of the worst drugs, if not probably the worst. Definitely, it's definitely I'd say up there. And sorry, I had gum. I just think, oh, go VT. I want to remembrance, April 16th. But I just think this show has great symbolism, and I can't wait to see how it ends. I hope it ends well. I mean, obviously the show has had such good meat in the middle between in the sandwich that the bread at the end could possibly not be as good. It's kind of like Batman, where the second one has so much meat because you don't have to introduce the characters and you don't have to end the story that you don't have to worry about those things. But in the end, they have to worry about all this closure and how are they going to end this story and what lesson are they going to teach? Because I think this story teaches a lot of lessons that a lot of people like, and I do think this will forever change the TV industry, as you can have someone else other than just that good guy. You can have that bad guy who has all these problems, like Walter White. And Walter White, I've got to say, he's he's my favorite like character of all time. Just his development and how what Walt goes through and how everything going. It's so carefully detailed and explained that I love it. And that how he has all these chances to get out, like in the very first season, like the fourth episode. That got Mr. Black, whatever his name, offers to pay for his treatment, and Walt declines. Like he's had a chance to buy it out, but he never does because his ego is too big, and it's just a culmination of all those things of ego and his family and how he forgets about one at some times and goes huge on the other. And I just can't wait for this show to go down. But I do think maybe I just think also the thing is Hank in the show is not has never really been made to be a likable guy. Like there's a lot of scenes with him and other such, and like there's a lot of him in the story, and it's exciting. But like Hank is not made to be the likable guy. Like I don't think they're gonna try to make Hank look like the hero because Hank is a little racy and he's a little on the edge. And while he is a good guy and is tenacious about finding these guys, I almost view like Jesse as a more good guy than Hank. Um, that's why I don't see Hank killing Walt in the end. But it's hard for me to see. Like, I don't see Walter just. It's not going to end like all these other bad guys. All these other situations usually end up with Walt outsmarting everybody, right? He just Walt through chemistry or something or some just manipulation outsmarts everyone who has a gun at the right place. Um, the show can't end with Walt outsmarting the DEA. He's already done it so many times. Um, Walt's not going to outsmart everybody. So, um, what is he going to do then? Is he going to roll over and die? It's so tough to say. Tell me what you think. I've told you what I think. I just think he loses his soul. Somehow his family finds out. Maybe there's some huge thing where he, he finally has got everything together, and he ends up killing Skylar for reasons he cannot even talk about. I just don't know. Or maybe he ends up killing one of the kids. I do think it is very possible instead of Skylar dying, one of the kids dies because kids dying is a huge thing in the show. A lot of kids die. I mean, well, he poisons the kid in season 4. The kid shoots Combo. Kids dying. I think the kids dying is to show that innocent people get hurt when you do these kinds of things. It's definitely more complicated than that, but essentially that's it. And I can't believe that I think that one of the kids will die. I think either Holly could die to symbolize like to show like the youth and like how you know Walt missed a lot of bringing up her because she was so young. Or Walt Jr. could die because we're actually attached to Walt Jr. We're not really attached to Holly except she's a baby, and we that's the only thing we'd give as like, oh, she's a little kid, that's so sad. But if Walt Jr. died, it would too be sad because he loves Walt and kind of thinks Skylar's a bitch, even though Skylar is, the Skylar has always loved them and always been trying to keep the family together. She even went over to Walt's side, but she can never tell Walt Jr., which is sad. Um, I was trying to think about. So again, that Lydia love relationship, I doubt it. I'm just saying. I think they left a little door open for that. What's his name? Todd? No, not Todd. The guy, the guy Ted. I think maybe Ted comes back because they never resolved the Ted issue, except that he said he's never going to tell him. So that could be an unresolved issue. Is Jesse ever gonna find out that he let his girlfriend die and poisoned his girlfriend's son? I don't think so. I thought it was gonna happen this season. I thought maybe, Jesse was gonna figure out he killed Mike, and maybe then he would tell him. But I don't think Jesse's ever gonna figure out all the manipulation, Walter, because I could see I was kind of on the verge that Jesse kills Walt. I thought it was fitting that if Jesse killed Walt, that was only fitting. I don't think it would be fitting if anybody else really killed Walt, because Jesse and Walt have been there since the beginning, and it would be a very big twist for Jesse to kill Walt, and it would take the knowledge that he killed Mike, he basically let his girlfriend die, and he poisoned Brock to basically manipulate him. Um, I think that could happen. Wow, this video is 21 minutes. I'm going to end it here. Post your predictions if you got them below, and I'll